So good morning, judges. We are Team Ecolo. I'm Joshua, and here are my two co-founders, Cheng Ling and Xie Hui. The two of us have very much varying fashion habits, but one thing we have in common is that we all love cheap clothes. But at the same time, we recognize the impact of fast fashion consumption on our environment and want to achieve a balance between the two. That really kick-started our journey to find out more about the fashion industry. And the numbers were astonishing. Over 80 billion kilograms of clothes were discarded annually. Knowing this, we wanted to solve the problem of excessive consumption by encouraging the usage of pre-loved clothes. But today, there is a twofold problem faced in the adoption of pre-loved clothes from both a buyer and seller's end. From a consumer standpoint, there is a poor adoption of pre-loved clothes as they are faced with a poor shopping experience. While on business front, they are finding it hard to scale their business to a wider target audience. Meet Sandra, one of our interviewees. She loves getting pre-loved apparel because of the cheap deals, but she does not like the online shopping experience on existing pre-loved apparel platforms. As she pointedly describes, it just does not give that same retail therapy experience, being able to browse through a huge assortment of clothing. But this is not just faced by Sandra. As out of 45 consumers interviewed, 96% indicated a poor shopping experience when it comes to shopping on pre-loved apparels. From our interviews with 15 businesses, many of them also stated that there is no e-commerce platform today dedicated for pre-loved apparel, and existing marketplace tools are simply not attracting the right type of target audience. Understanding the pains and gains of our stakeholders, we created Ecolo, a pre-loved apparel platform that bridges the gap between consumers and businesses. The current secondhand shop. Next slide, I think. One more slide, please. The current secondhand shopping experience is not ideal. Poor browsing experience, uncurated content, and a transaction process that has a high level of friction. With Ecolo, we aim to redefine the shopping experience for Sandra, shifting from a poor shopping experience to what we call an Ecolo experience. So what is the Ecolo experience? Now, as Sandra opens the app, she can see curated content based on her preferences and existing fashion trends. From there, she can find deals that resonate with her fashion taste and price point, and add on to the cart for a seamless transaction process. At the end of it, based on her spending, she will receive Eco coins, which she can use to support various social causes that she believes in. And that is the Ecolo process, a great shopping experience and an even greater benefit for society.
But that's not all. To cater to businesses, we have identified three main features that businesses want. Firstly, an inventory management tool, A/B testing tool, as well as customer analytics for directed sales. Ecolo's business model is a B2B2C approach. For consumers, Ecolo is a free-to-use marketplace, and for businesses, it is a platform for them to list items and use enterprise suite tools. We charge them up to 8% commission per transaction. So during our MVP validation process, we asked ourselves one key question. Is there a need for a pre-loved clothing platform? So what we did was that we engaged in two different MVPs. First, a no-code prototype to show early adopters, as well as an event booth to sell pre-loved clothes to consumers. So our outcome was that we had earned $89, interviewed 15 businesses, and 53 of them expressed interest in joining our platform. A quote from one of our early adopters club indicates that they love our product as it address many aspects of what they want in a platform today. There is also a huge market potential for the Singapore apparel market with 180 million addressable market. So how would Ecolo differentiate ourselves? We want to differentiate ourselves in two key areas. We want to differentiate ourselves in affordability while ensuring a great shopping experience likened to other online stores that we are familiar with. On the extreme left, we can actually see pre-loved stores that do offer affordable products but present a poor shopping experience. While on the extreme right, most stores do offer that level of retail therapy, but they do perpetuate the problem of fast fashion. And fast fashion is something that actually millennials are shifting away from. And Ecolo aims to be the trendsetter for sustainable fashion, eventually setting ourselves apart from fast fashion brands, and as we champion circularity in fashion. For our go-to market strategy, firstly, we are looking to rebrand pre-loved clothes into a positive image of being fashionable and trendy through strategic partnerships with existing retail stores and influencers. Secondly, we'll also adopt a mobile-first channel for marketing, looking to extend multiple touch points with stakeholders. Finally, this is our 2-year timeline. which is split into 4 phases and inclusive of our specific and measurable goals. Firstly, we want to increase engagement and build strategic partnerships. Next will be our alpha product release, followed by a full mobile application release, and finally a launch at the end of the year to start creating an impact in Singapore's fashion scene. For projected income, we're seeking for $50,000 from the YIC grant, and it will be divided into 25% of the budget on marketing, 70% on further development of our mobile application, as well as maintenance, as well as 5% on miscellaneous items. So thank you for your time, and let's kickstart your journey with Ecolo today.
Yep, judges. Maybe I'll just clarify. This platform, you mentioned B2B2C. Can you explain that? So my question is actually, is there an option for C2C?
Right, so C2C, it's an option that we did consider, which is what Carousel is today. But I think where we realize is that fashion is something that we want to, because currently the existing problem when they say they are using Carousel, for instance, is that you only go there when you have something specific that you want to buy. So say, for instance, black dress with for petite, for instance. But what we want to do is to make secondhand shopping really part of your day-to-day life. And hence, we want to work with businesses first to really curate out the content for you, kind of how online stores are doing, rather than doing a C2C approach. And therefore, through various iterations, we consider a B2B2C model would be ideal as a starting ground. But definitely C2C is it's an approach that we are considering in the future.
I guess the whole idea of reusing is that, consumer can now put up my used pre-loved item for sale, right? Somebody who wants it. So how does your platform allow me to put up my pre-loved item for somebody who might want to purchase it, if it's not a C2C platform? So
currently how we are working with is that in Singapore alone, we realize that there are many different thrift stores that basically amass a huge amount of clothes. And usually they will pick the clothes that are better, more fashionable. So that's where we are starting from, thrift stores. We have already engaged close to about 15 thrift stores. They have expressed their willingness to actually go on our online platform. So how it works is that thrift stores would take an assortment of specific clothes that they want to put online, but they don't have any existing tools to do so. So that's where we will get our clothes from, which is very much curated by these fashionable stores that know what exactly are they selling. They know the existing fashion trend, rather than just putting a whole list of clothing out there. We are really selecting clothes that there's a very high probability that people would buy them. Hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Yes, I think Joshua, Chengling, and Xuehui, thank you for this. As if you mentioned, there are a few of these pre-loved clothes platforms, right? And I like how you have already mapped out the competitive or collaborative landscape. Would you share a bit more about how collaborative or competitive you would be with the existing stakeholders? So for example, if some of these existing pre-loved companies or platform, they already have a process in place, it's just that their interface is not that great. Would they buy your interface, or would they post their items also on your interface, or would you replace them and drive them out of business?
Right.
So I'm just curious, how would you navigate this ecosystem? Are you coming in dominant to consolidate everybody, or are you wanting to have this UI, UX to be used by all these existing players?
Thanks for the question. I think, what you mentioned was correct. We want to be that marketplace for all the existing pre-loved stores to be on our site. And, the value proposition that we are offering to them, it's really much enterprise suite tools that they can't find in any platforms today. So today, pre-loved stores, actually, the biggest struggle they have is not about selling the clothes. It's about managing their inventory. They have many different clothes. They have to keep track of, what clothes are they actually going to sell. And this is really a huge trouble for them. And the second part is, reaching out to the correct target audience. So today they use Instagram, Facebook, Carousel, but what they told us is that existing marketplace tools, they are really not working. There's a huge time period, like for instance, Carousel, they will have to haggle with the customers back and forth. There's many different back and forth process, and that's not something that they are happy with. So that's where, when we explain our product to them via a no-code prototype, they were very much interested because that was a lot of the features that we mentioned, like tool management, customer user experience, trying to provide analytics too. These were some things that they really wanted. They are present today in platforms like Shopee, Lazada, but these platforms are not suited for pre-loved clothes. And that's why when we approached them, they were really much willing to talk to us and want to engage with us as soon as our platform is up.
So thanks very much again for sharing. I do appreciate that there's a value in setting the platform up, and I do also can see the potential in it scaling up to be quite fairly big as well. I guess I'm thinking from the point of a user, right? So if I'm actually right now going to be making a purchase and stuff, and especially because it's pre-loved, I would love to check out the conditions of the clothes as well. Could you share with me how I could do that? And also, how do I make payment, or how do I actually collect the clothes after that as well? If it's going to be online, at what point in time do I kind of receive the item? Yeah, that would be one portion. Maybe my second question I could indulge me also is, again, on budget, I noticed that there's quite a fair bit of money allocated for development of the app itself, right? And it's my experience has been that many apps have been doing really well, but they also require quite a regular maintenance phase as well. So would you be able to share a little bit more about how you'd like to be able to ensure that the app continues to be user-friendly so that people will be willing to use that as well?
Okay.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll take the first question and I'll pass the second question to my teammates. So the first question you were asking is related to how would the consumer use the app, the entire process of the customer journey, basically, am I right? So how they would use our app, firstly to verify the conditions of the clothing. It's really a two-tier process. So currently, C2C model, the only way to verify is when you receive the clothes. But what we want to do is that first, businesses usually they will already check the clothes beforehand to ensure that they are of a certain standard. So that's the first tier that we are doing. The second tier is where Ecolo comes in. Because what we want to do is to consolidate the entire transportation process so that it will be more efficient in the long run. So we will go to different thrift stores, collect all the clothes, and do our delivery from there. And that's where the second tier of checking will come in, where the three of us, and we have a bunch of people that we're working with, together we will check the clothes to ensure that they are of certain quality. Because that's a very important part that we want to play, which is quality clothes that are pre-loved still. So that's to answer your question on the entire customer journey. And for payment process, we are looking at PayLah, cash, credit cards. These are the typical payment systems that we are looking at. So maybe I'll hand over the question of the app deployment with Tucheng Link.
Yeah, sorry, just to understand your question again. So it is, how do we maintain the long-term maintenance costs of the app and make it user-friendly? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I guess you could say that it's really more of the app maintenance. I guess my point is, if at first point, if I'm actually a user, the app doesn't seem very intuitive, right? I will start using the app already.
Right.
But you're spending quite a fair bit of money on the app itself.
Right.
So I'd like to know a bit more about that. Thank you.
Right. So I think one of our key driving principles when we are developing our application actually is a seamless user experience. We want it to be an app where people can just see daily what the new stores are posting, and they can go to the app and use it every day, right? So with regards to maintenance costs, I think the largest costs would come from maintenance of our cloud service, and I think the cost is actually required. We do plan to run some ads on our application so that we generate a steady stream of income, and this income can pay for our cloud service providers for now. And then, for further development, we intend to seek more funds, or as profit margins increase, we continue to intend to invest into the application itself, as well as generate, capture more customers to use our application as well.
Okay, sorry, we are already at time. Let's put our hands together to thank Ecolo.